A total lunar eclipse and partial solar eclipse put on a show for millions of us around the world. Let's take a look at what you can go out to see in the night sky for March of 2025. I'm Michael Martin, and this is Late Night Astronomy. With no major meteor showers this month, we start off with our coverage of the moon, and that's where both of our main events for March happen to be. Let's start off with the phases though for this object, beginning with the first quarter moon on March 6th, with a full moon on March 14th, last quarter moon on March 22nd, and a new moon on the 29th. The moon also makes several close passes to some planets and deep sky objects this month, starting with Venus on March 1st, Jupiter on the 6th, Mars on the 8th, but what most of you are probably here for this month is coverage of the total lunar eclipse and partial solar eclipse occurring in March. Let's begin with the total lunar eclipse. During this event, the Earth moves in between the moon and the sun, casting our shadow down on the lunar surface. The first of these shadows is known as the penumbra, but the most dramatic is called the umbra. It's during this time that an obvious shadow will slowly be cast on the moon until it's completely covered by the Earth, creating an orangish-red blood moon. While parts of this eclipse will be visible from most parts of the world, the best views of the umbra passing and totality will be viewed from the Americas. From where I live on the east coast of North America, the umbra will begin to hit the moon around 1:10 a.m. on the early morning of March 14th. Around 1:45, about half of the moon will be covered, with totality hitting around 2:25 a.m. At this point, the moon will begin to turn that famous blood red color, and it'll stay that way until around 3:30 a.m., when the moon begins to move out of the Earth's shadow. If you're able to take pictures of this event or anything else in the night sky this month, please share them with me over on Instagram at Late Night Astronomy. Our next major event involving the moon is a partial solar eclipse. Now it's the moon's turn to move in between the Earth and the sun, casting a shadow down on our planet for some of you to see. To safely see this event, it's important to remember that you must wear certified protective solar glasses anytime you're looking at the sun, regardless of how much of it is covered by the moon. Please check your solar glasses to make sure they aren't damaged, and if you live in parts of the Americas, Western Russia, Europe, and Africa, you might be able to see this event on March 29th. To find out if you can see these specific events from where you live around the world, please check out one of my favorite astronomy websites called inthesky.org. For the planets this month, it's not quite the planetary parade that we saw in January and February of this year, but there are still some really good targets to get out to see this March. Right after sunset in the west, you will still see the incredibly bright Venus and less bright Mercury that will be very close to Neptune on March 4th, and highest in the east around March 8th. The next day, Venus and Mercury will be close to each other on the 9th, and by the end of the month, will follow each other down to the horizon and will be too close to the sun to observe before becoming early morning targets in the east in the next few weeks. Higher up in the sky, Uranus and particularly Jupiter continue to put on a show. Mars is still there for sure, but it's become a much smaller target in size as we continue to move away from each other. There really aren't any bright comets to get out to view in the night sky this month, but I wanted to give you a quick update on Comet G3 ATLAS. This had been putting on an incredible show for my friends in the southern hemisphere, and towards the end of January, the nucleus of this comet disintegrated, but the tail of it continued to be viewable for a week or two going into early February. Some of the images of this that I saw captured on social media and cloudynights.com were just incredible to see. The ghostly tail of this comet surviving even after the nucleus had been completely gone. Hopefully we'll have more comets in the near future, but at this point let's move on to some deep sky objects. Hey everybody, so sadly we will not be able to do the deep sky portion of our video for this month. This past Saturday we got some pretty severe weather at my place and had more water come into our basement than we have in about 10 or 11 years. So my wife and I were up for about 20 hours this past Saturday with 2 pool pumps, doing our best to keep the water at the lowest point away from the finished side of the basement. Thankfully, we were able to, but I'm exhausted. I'm going to leave a link in the description below to a video that I did a few years ago on the best deep sky objects for the winter and spring if you're interested in checking that out. Thankfully, everybody's safe. Wife, kids, we're all doing fine now. It's just a little bit of a cleanup and a bit of a mess downstairs. But I appreciate your understanding, and thank you all so much for your support. Clear skies, and I'll see you next month.